Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making 6 Pinterest-worthy Easter recipes that are super cute and really easy to make. And I thought I'd share them with you so you can make them for your Easter party, or just if you want something kind of seasonal and cute just for the spring season. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first recipe I'm sharing with you guys today are these adorable little Easter nests, and I'm not joking when I say these could not be easier to make. All you need for this recipe are some chocolate cocoa pebbles, a bag of milk chocolate chips. You could use dark chocolate, but the milk chocolate tastes so good in there. Some peanut butter, and then some Cadbury mini eggs. I got the big bag just to have a few extras on hand. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of the chocolate Rice Krispies into a large bowl. And then in a separate bowl, I'm going to add in a cup of peanut butter and a cup of the milk chocolate chips. And then I'm just going to melt it in the microwave for about a minute in 30-second increments, stirring in between just so it doesn't burn. Once it gets really nice and smooth, and it's a good smooth mixture, you're able to mix it together really well. Then I'm going to add it into the chocolate Rice Krispies and just mix it all together. Once all of the Rice Krispies are covered in the chocolate and peanut butter mixture, I'm just going to set it aside and line a cupcake tin with some cupcake wrappers. Once I line my cupcake tin, I'm just going to give it a quick little spray of cooking spray just to make sure that the mixture doesn't stick. And then I'm going to fill the cupcake containers about halfway full of our Rice Krispie mixture, and then put them in the fridge for about 10 minutes or so. You don't want them fully hardened, you just want them about halfway so you're able to stick your thumb in there and get a nice little indent for the Cadbury eggs to sit. One thing I did not mention is that when you put the Rice Krispie mixture in the container, we're going to use the back of our spoon and just press it down to get kind of flat on top, just so we have that nice spot to put our thumb in to make our indent. Okay, so we've just finished using our thumb to make our little indents. If you don't want to use your thumb, don't worry, you can use the back of a spoon, anything like that. I just found that that was the quickest thing to do. So now I'm going to put 3 Cadbury eggs in each one of the nests that we just made. If you want to do more, you can. I just thought it looked really nice having 3 eggs, and I like to do different colors too, just to add different pops of color. So once you're done putting all of the eggs in all of the baskets, we're going to put these back in the fridge again for another 10 minutes or so. This is going to help the Cadbury eggs stick to the chocolate and peanut butter mixture. It's not going to be solid on there, but they're going to help more so they're not rolling around all over the place. Of course, if you don't want to wait, you can go ahead and eat them as they are right now. I just found that putting them back in the fridge to give them those extra few minutes of hardening all together really helped make them look nicer and not as messy. And here they are fully finished. I think they are absolutely adorable, super festive, and perfect for spring or Easter, whatever you want to make them for, and they tasted really good. The second recipe I have for you guys today are these butterfly cupcakes, and if you thought the first recipe was easy, you're going to think this one is even easier. All you need is some frosting. I have 2 different colors, but you can use as many or as few as you want. Some mini pretzels, and then some chocolate cupcakes, of course. I went ahead and made these off camera because I just used a box of cupcake mix. So what I'm going to do is just use my base color, which I'm using my white for, and just frost the cupcake. Super simple. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not the best at icing cakes or cupcakes or anything. And then I'm just going to take 2 mini pretzels and stick them in like wings, kind of centering. We're leaving a bit of a space in between so we can put the butterfly, but we're going to want this on the center of our cupcake. And then I'm just taking my second color, which is my pink, making a tiny little body and then adding a head. This is so easy, and like it takes 2 seconds just to make it look like spring instead of a regular cupcake. So this is a total time saver, and it's not hard at all. This is great for birthday parties during spring, Easter parties, baby showers, whatever you want to do it for. It's just 2 seconds to upgrade your cupcakes. This next recipe takes a little bit more work, but it's totally fine because it's still easy for a homemade cookie recipe. So what I'm going to do is in a large bowl, combine half a cup of melted butter with 3/4 a cup of granulated sugar. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Once all 3 of those things are in the bowl, I'm just going to combine them really well with my hand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer, I'm sure doing this by hand will work perfectly fine, and it'll give you some arm muscles definitely. So once it's completely done being combined, then I'm going to add in 1 egg. To this mixture, we're going to add in 1 box of instant pistachio jello pudding mix. And just a fair warning, there is some almond pieces mixed in. I didn't even see them, and then I was like looking around. I'm like, what is that? What's that in my batter? So, okay, now we're going to add half a teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. I could only find a 1/4 cup or 1/4 teaspoon measuring stick, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I used. And then I'm going to add in 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then after we combine this all together, there's so many times you have to stop and mix. After all it's combined, we're going to add a cup of chocolate chips. I'm going to use milk chocolate chips just because that's what I like, but the recipe calls for a cup of white chocolate chips. If you like white chocolate chips, then go for it. I'm not a huge fan of white chocolate chips, so I just used milk, and it tasted so good. Much better than I expected. I would totally use milk chocolate chips again. I went ahead and lined a cookie sheet with some tin foil, and then I'm just going to give it a quick spray with some vegetable oil. And I'm just going to use a cookie scoop and scoop my dough onto the cookie sheet. These bake in like no time at all. You put them in the oven at 350 and you bake them for 9 to 11 minutes. I think I baked mine for 10 and they were perfect. These tasted so good, so much better than I would have thought for pistachio cookies. I've never been a huge fan of the pistachio flavor. I like the nuts, but I don't like anything that like tastes like pistachio. But you won't believe how good these were. Everyone liked them. They were gone in like 2 days, and I would definitely make these again because really I know there was a lot of steps and a lot of mixing, but they weren't that much work to make. So I would, if I needed something in a pinch, something really fast, I would definitely make these, and they'd probably taste really good with any kind of instant pudding mix. Even if you don't want to use Jello, or whatever it's called, even if you don't want to use pistachio, you could use like chocolate or butterscotch or anything like that and make all kinds of different cookies. And here are our beautiful cookies fresh out of the oven. They look so good, they smell so good, and they taste even better. I wanted to shove like 45 of them in my mouth. Moving on to our next recipe, we have this Peep daisy cake. I was debating whether showing you this or not because I struggled so much when decorating this cake. I am not a cake decorator at all. I just made a normal cake and I frosted it and it stuck some peeps on it and it looks like a daisy. I wanted to show it to you anyway because I figure you can probably do it better than I can. So here's some inspiration for you to bake a daisy cake. We are on our second to last recipe, and that's for these carrot dipped pretzels. I got this pretzel dipping kit from Walmart because they were all out of the pretzel rods that I needed, and this says it comes with everything, so we shall see. Inside, I opened it up and I got this little container of green melting wafers that says you can heat it up in the jar. I got this container of orange melting wafers that also says you can microwave it in the can, which the can is made of paper, so we'll see. And then several pretzel rod sticks. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and melt the green chocolate wafers. I'm just going to take off the plastic lid and the film on top, and as you can see, these are like really flimsy paper containers. I was really nervous about like a fire starting in my microwave, but it didn't. So I went ahead and melted it following the instructions. And so now I'm going to just dip the top of the pretzel in there. This was really weird chocolate. I don't know what happened to it in the microwave. But it's like stiff and I don't know. I just did the best I could. I'm just going to go ahead and dip all of the pretzel rods that I got, and then once they're all dipped, I'm going to let them dry a few minutes. The melting wafers typically harden pretty fast, so I shouldn't have to wait too long. And then I'm going to melt the orange and dip the rest of the pretzel rod in the orange. Okay, here we are with our orange nice and melted. This orange melted so much better than the green. I don't know if I just did it wrong or what. So I'm just going to grab it by the green end and stick it in the orange to cover the rest and make it resemble a carrot. Keep in mind, I am not Willy Wonka and I'm not any sort of chocolatier. So they look how they look. It'll be fine. Someone will eat them. If they don't look like carrots, they don't look like carrots. They're still pretzels covered in chocolate, and that was the most important thing I was going for today, is pretzels covered in chocolate. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cover all of them. It was hard with that little jar, I'm telling you. But I've seen before where they put like the chocolate or frosting even in a piping bag, and then they stick the pretzel through the like tip, and then they frost it on there. That's what I should have done, and that would have made it so much easier and probably made them look better, and it would have covered them with even more chocolate. But what's done is done, and that's how it is, so this is how I'm doing it. Okay, and here are my beautifully dipped carrot pretzels. You can totally tell what they are. There's no doubt in my mind. Let's move on to the next one. Our final treat today are these jellybean baskets. These were a bit more time consuming but turned out just as cute. All you need is an ice cream cone, a Twizzler, and then a package of jelly beans. You can use any kind of jelly beans you want. I just chose Sweet Tarts for today. So what we're going to do with this ice cream cone is we're going to take a steak knife and we are going to carve a hole in the side of the ice cream cone big enough to fit a Twizzler through. So the goal is not to make the hole too big because we don't want the Twizzler to like easily be able to come out or go in. So we wanted to make it just the perfect size to fit the Twizzler where it won't come back out once we get it in there. So that's what I'm doing. It takes a lot of trial and error to try and get it to work. But once you get it right, you kind of have an idea of how to do it for the rest of the time. And also you don't want to break the cone either. So it's a very tedious task of trying to carve and stick the Twizzler in to see if it fits and then keep carving. But we're going to do that on both sides until we can get the Twizzler to form like a handle of a basket. And after all that work, we finally gotten ourselves a basket out of our ice cream cone and our Twizzler. As you can see, it doesn't look great right now, but we're going to cover all of that up with jelly beans. If you don't want to use jelly beans, you could also use like chocolate chips, candy, whatever you want. You can make it your own, and just add whatever your child or your friend or whoever you're giving this to prefers to eat. And there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you got some good recipes that you can make for either spring or Easter, anything you want to make it for. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.